Hello all, my name is RJ Beach, and today I have the pleasure of interviewing Mr. Trey Rawles. Mr. Rawles is the director of bands at Phoebus High School and is also the chief arranger of music at Hampton University. Thank you for taking the time to talk with me today.
No problem, RJ.
I saw you grew up in Richmond. What was that experience like, and how did it influence your art?
Okay, Richmond, growing up in Richmond, Richmond is actually kind of like a hidden gem of art. VCU is out there and they're big in the arts with their school. And then with all the music community out there, like one of my trombone teachers I grew up with was a part of a group called No BS Brass Band, which is amazing. So just being surrounded by all that type of art. And then also growing up in the church, being involved in the music ministry in my church, those two things were things that really influenced me getting into the arts.
You mentioned the No BS brass band, correct? What,
Yes.
tell me more about that.
All right. So the No BS Brass Band, they kind of specialize in the style of music, kind of like if you've ever heard of New Orleans brass band type stuff. They do like jazz band covers. They do some covers of pop songs. The brass band usually consists of like all brass instruments, so your tuba, trombone, trumpets, and then you had some saxophones in there, percussion, drum sets, all these things. My trombone teacher, his name was Stefan. He was really dope. He played bass trombone for the group. But they still make music to this day, if I remember correctly. They have a few albums that can be found on all streaming platforms. So this isn't even trying to be a plug for them, but they're just really they really are amazing. So if you have opportunity to check them out, you should.
Okay, this sounds very interesting. I'll check them out in the future. What was the art encounter that made you realize you wanted to pursue music? Like, what exactly was the thing that stuck out to you the most?
For me, actually, it was my high school band director, Jenny Ryan at Monacan High School. I graduated from Chesterfield County Public Schools, which is right outside of Richmond, Virginia. And I'm not gonna lie, my middle school band experience was not the most enjoyable because me and the teacher did not get along. I grew up playing drums, so when I got to middle school and I wanted to be a percussionist and I already knew how to play the instrument,
Mm.
it really irritated me when my band teacher put me on trombone. So it kind of made me kind of not like the class. I when I got to high school, I said I was going to give it a year, and then if I didn't like it, I was going to move on to something else. But my high school teacher just seeing like she sparked my love in working in the arts, music education specifically. Under her, I learned so much how to conduct, how to read like scores, how to honestly read music because I really played by ear in middle school. But in high school is when I really kind of like learned how to get into it. And then just seeing the passion that she had for her career and just the impact she had not only on my life, but other students that I graduated with. And she still works. Her and I are really close to this day. We still talk. I think last time I texted her was last week. But it was my high school band experience between marching band where I got to travel places like New York, Florida, Tennessee, and then just the concert band experiences, we were able to set the school like we set the longest streak for we started the streak that is still going to this day of superiors for both the marching band and concert bands. So it's just something that really ignited my love for that. And then also another thing that kind of ties into it is the time of me seeing the Hampton University marching force growing up. My family has a lot of Hampton grads, so I've been going to Hampton University games since I could remember. And I just specifically remember watching the marching force, and I'm like, this is dope. I really want to do this. So it was between my high school band director and then just watching the Hampton University marching force.
Okay, you mentioned traveling through
Mhm.
school band. What was that experience like?
Yes. So we used to do these things. I believe the company they're not current. I think the company doesn't exist no more now, but it was Fiesta Val, where we would go on these different trips, traveling both with our concert and marching band. So the marching band would do a parade through different theme parks. So like when we went to Tennessee, we parade through Dollywood. When we went to Florida, we paraded through Disney and Universal. We were in the Veterans Day parade my junior year in New York. Just really dope experiences where we got to go up there and display our talents. And then on the concert band side, our concert band would compete against other concert bands. So we would play pieces for a judge, and they would rank us against other concert bands, and we would receive trophies. So we would have to raise money, and then whatever we didn't raise, we had to pay out of pocket. And but we would probably miss like 5 days of school. It was kind of really fun. We would get up really early, catch a bus, and just drive up there, stay up there for a few days, and then come back. Really memorable times. My senior year was my most memorable because not only was I in the band, my sister was a flute player in the marching band, and then both of my parents chose to chaperone that trip that year. So it doubled as not only it kind of was like a senior trip slash family vacation slash band trip. So it was really cool. And that was just one of my most fond memories growing up as a teenager.
Okay, and then when you paraded through the different parks, was it like a field trip where after you paraded, were you able to ride the ride?
Oh yeah, we stayed in the park all day. Like I have photo albums on my Facebook, where like, just yes, I remember when the Harry Potter, the year we went was when the Harry Potter exhibit in Orlando opened. So like we were like one of the first groups to go and actually explore it. And like I bought a Voldemort wand, which I still have.
Oh,
It's in my office. So yeah, and then I have a picture where me, my best friend, a couple of my bandmates, and my band director all had our wands and we were pointing them at the camera. It was just fun. So it was a really dope experience.
okay, and you mentioned Hampton University, how you went as a kid, and that ties to one of the questions I had, where it's what is the role of Hampton University in your education and your development as an artist? Given that Hampton University is an HBCU, could you provide more information about the experience of being in an HBCU marching band and why they deserve more attention?
Okay, this is a long answer. Hampton University is a good portion of who I am. Like I said, a lot of my family graduated from there. I've had a love for the school since I was a kid. I've been wanting to be a pirate since I was a kid. I only applied to Hampton University my senior year, and when I got accepted, I was like, cool. I was like the first senior that year to announce where I was going. I announced like in November. We didn't have a selection day or college announcement day when I was coming up because I'm old, like y'all like to say. But with Hampton, I attended Hampton from 2011 to 2017, where I received both my undergrad degree and Bachelor's of Arts, focus in music education, and then my master's in teaching music pre-K through 12. So, I received a lot of lessons. That's where I really became. That's when I found out I really was good on my instrument. Like yeah, you audition for people and like the band director is like, "Oh man, you sound really good." And you don't know if they're just trying to grow their band or if you really do sound good. But like when I started playing at Hampton, that's when I realized, "Oh, I'm actually kind of good at playing this horn." The marching band experience was very unique. So it was bittersweet my freshman year. The reason why I say that is right before my freshman year happened, if you're not familiar with the FAMU situation, Robert Champion, their drum major, had passed away due
Okay.
to hazing in the band culture down there at that time. So it has since changed, but at that time it had gotten to the point where somebody had lost their life. And it caused a ripple effect through the whole HBCU band world where a lot of traditions like people had sections and where some people like section names and where some people just had the section names with pride, some people also would use that as an opportunity to do things that they should not. So, because of that, when I joined the band director said no more sections, and it kind of killed a lot of the morale in the band. Where because and I my freshman class really didn't experience it because we were in our section and it was gone by the time we went there, so we didn't know nothing different. We still traveling and doing all these things. We didn't care.
Mhm.
But the people who had came before us, the band significantly shrank my freshman year. The year before was like close to 200 members, and like my freshman year is like 110 members. So like it kind of had effect on the morale. But despite that, I still had a very enjoyable freshman year. My first game was in Chicago, on Soldier Field versus Alabama A&M. The YouTube video's up there. If you look up Hampton University Marching Force 2011 Chicago Classic, we did a tribute show to Chicago artists. So we did Shaka Khan, Kanye West, who wasn't as controversial as he is nowadays, but back then he was really popular. And just different artists like that. And it was really memorable. I just remember my first trip, we rode on a bus to Chicago. So like I'm like, oh my gosh. And this is the first time like I'm traveling as an adult, because we all like to say we're adults our freshman year, but we're still kind of like just grown teenagers. So that was my first time going out as an adult, spending my own money. Like, yeah, we had a curfew, but it was just like I could go wherever I want to. So like we explored the city. I got to see Sears Tower. Really dope experience. I keep saying dope. I'm finding a different word. Really cool experience. And then just that led, I continued marching throughout all my years. And through the marching force, I was able to experience different things like going to Tegucigalpa, Honduras, where I did a culture exchange program where I stayed down there for a period of time where we taught them the HBCU band style. That was a really cool experience that I cherish for my life. Like I still have some students that I met through that experience that I keep in touch with to this day. And then I got to meet President Obama through a band experience. I was a part of a brass ensemble that I got invited to perform at the White House um, during a Black History Month performance. And we just knew that we were invited to play at the White House. And I always joke with my professor from Hampton, Mr. Cox, the assistant director of bands at Hampton University. The night he calls me like a Sunday night at like 10 p.m. He never calls that late. And so I'm like, oh, okay. Hey, he was like, hey, are you near anybody? I'm like, no. He was like, I say yes or no. I was like, I don't know what you're saying. He said yes or no, but I'm gonna encourage you saying yes. You're going to be glad you said yes. I said, okay, I'm trusting you. Yes. He said, okay, cool. Be at the band room tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Don't have nobody with you. Here I am thinking, like, I'm about to die. I'm about to get kidnapped, dumped in the water. Nobody's ever going to see me again. But we get up there, and then, like, a few other bandmates are walking up. So I'm like, okay, so at least I'm not going to die. At least we might get kidnapped now. So it was about 11 of us. And Mr. Cox tells us, hey, the reason why I had to be so secretive is we've been invited to perform at the White House in a week. He said, you're not allowed to tell anybody.
Mhm.
He said, I need certain things from you because they had to do background checks and everything. Like,
Yeah.
I'll talk about what it's like driving up into the White House. But we performed, prepared a program, and when we got to the White House that day, because they don't try to publicize the president's schedule too far in advance for safety reasons.
Hmm.
So when we got there, we go through all these security checkpoints. We don't go through the front. So I think we didn't see the front of the White House until we left because they
Okay.
took us in through the back. So they're running all these things that somebody told us that they ran our internet history from like while we were sitting in the car. And like we were joking people about that, but I'm not gonna share. We could talk about that offline. But we they searched everything and everything, and they were like, "Hey, we're just being really thorough because the president is on property today."
Hmm.
So we're sitting there like, "Oh shoot!" And at this time, we don't know we're meeting the guy. So the man, this head of security comes in, goes, grabs Mr. Cox and pulls him off to the side and talks to him. We don't know what they're talking about at the time. So here we are, just taking selfies, all this stuff, like, oh, we're at the White House. So we get and perform, and Mr. Cox is just really jittery for some reason, and he's usually really calm, cool, collected, but he's like really like bubbly this day. And
Hmm.
we're like, so after we perform, he was like, okay, guys, come here. He said, if y'all notice when we got here, they pulled me to the side. That's because they let us know that after y'all performed, I didn't want to tell y'all this before y'all performed because y'all be just like how I was, but we're going to put our instruments down. They're going to collect your phones. You're going to meet the president. And we were just like blown away. And I can send you the picture for your project if you like. But we got a chance to meet with him. We talked with him for about 10 minutes. One of my friends made me do my impersonation of him for him, which was interesting. And Michelle Obama actually said I sounded like him. So that's a memory I'll always cherish. We took a picture as a group, and then right after that, like I think that's the first time in my life I was speechless. I always have something to say, but in that moment, I'm just like,
Starstruck in a way.
yeah, like because
Yeah.
like I like it's very rare that you get to meet. Well, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity that you get to meet the first African American president
Mhm.
in the White House during his term.
Yeah.
So it's just like that's something I'll always cherish in my heart. That's one of my, and that all happened because of Hampton University.
Mhm.
So, and then even now with me working on staff, I've had opportunities to attend things like going to Rome, and marching in the New Year's parade for and we performed for the Pope, and he came out of his window and waved at us. Like, yeah, we were like 500 yards away, but like
Mhm.
I have a very, very blurry picture of the last Pope, not the current one we have, but the previous one, waving at us. So, but then we brought COVID back, and yeah, that started off 2020. But just all these experiences that I'm so thankful. And even now as a grown man, I went to LA for the first time last year with the marching force when we performed for the Honda Battle of the Bands.
Okay.
And I got to meet one of my favorite artists. Like I'm a huge Glorilla fan. I got to meet her.
Okay.
I got to meet Nick Cannon. I got to just be in Cali and I got to do it and I didn't have to pay anything. It was just a really cool experience. So, and all these experiences happened because of Hampton University. I hope that answers your question. I know I kind of went off
So,
on a tangent.
so university not only allowed you to travel and have that connection throughout
Mhm,
your college, but also connection into your adulthood,
mhm,
where it's you meet celebrities and you are able to travel not only around the United States, but also internationally,
mhm.
Hampton University.
Yes.
Okay. And Hampton University is an HBCU.
Mhm.
So the style is high step.
Yes. Mhm.
And so do you think that draws more attention to Hampton University to where they go internationally?
It makes us unique because other our style of marching is very unique. Marching band is something that's really international. So like you can go to Asian countries and find marching bands. You can go to European countries and find marching bands. But
Mhm.
most of them do that core style that you see, the roll step, um that style, which I like. I march core style. I have nothing but love and appreciation for core style. I love both styles. Huge DCI fan. But what makes us unique is that we do the not only do we do the 90-degree knee lift, our shows usually do a lot more popular music, and then we usually end our shows with dance breaks that
Okay.
are really high energy. So because of that, like and this kind of speaks to the Tegucigalpa experience down in Honduras. It was really cool because prior to them meeting us, they
Mhm.
did research on HBCU bands, and I have this video on my phone somewhere. They arranged to welcome us, they arranged a version of Still Fly. And just based off of YouTube videos of what they watched of what HBCU bands, they tried to imitate it to the best of their ability
Mhm.
prior to us teaching them anything. And the energy they had and the sound they had, it was like, oh my goodness. And then by the end of the whole experience, with them having that knowledge, having that experience, and then they taught us some things. Like I saw some like there were some percussion instruments that I had never seen marched out. Like I can't remember the names of some of them, but like they were very like it was truly a cultural exchange program. And then like even going to Rome and the only other high step band that I can think of to my memory right now that has done a experience like that in Rome was Heritage High School last year. And for both experiences, because they're not used to seeing that style, it
Mhm.
makes us stand out. So, and because like, sometimes let's be honest, some of the core style bands play some of the really traditional songs to the point where it's like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
But then when you hear like a song you hear on the radio while people are marching and dancing down the street and you see dancers, flags, all these things, it
Mhm.
just makes us kind of stand out a little bit. I'm not saying one is better than the other, it just makes us unique.
And so the music
Mhm.
aspect. So you're chief arranger at Hampton
Mhm.
University. What is that experience like, and what music is your favorite to arrange? More so current, older? How does that?
Okay. So, what my job as chief arranger is I go and listen to all the music. So like contrary to popular belief, I'm not the hugest fan of rap music. You've heard me make the joke before. I feel like my GPA is dropping while I'm listening to this, and I graduated years ago. Um, but because I am not only a arranger for a college band, but for my own high school band as well, I have to know all music. I listen to every genre of music. I have over 10,000 songs downloaded on my phone. So like I usually know when the new album drops. Like I listened to the J. Cole album as soon as it dropped. Just because I'm like, oh, I can write this. And what I do is listen to the music and try to hear what the artist is conveying and try to translate that into a band world.
Okay.
So um, I didn't think this was uh, something that was really a talent. Well, I know arranging is a talent, but something that I did not realize that not all arrangers can do. Apparently, I can produce very quickly,
Mm.
really good quality arrangements. Like my arrangements, when it comes to a rap song, I can probably knock out a rap song in like 15 minutes. But like if I'm knocking out a really intricate ballad, it might take me a day.
Yeah.
But I'm one of those people that I don't like walking away from something unless it's done until it's done. And then I'll sleep on it and then wake up the next morning and hear all the mistakes and just make edits.
Mm.
So, when it comes to my favorite style of writing, I really love writing ballads. Because I really feel like there's a lot of things that I hear in the music that are there that people don't even notice are there. And then just from my experience as an artist, I make up some counter melodies sometimes that just makes songs even more intricate. One of my favorite arrangements I have done recently, this past year for Hampton University, was an arrangement of Heaven Can Wait by Michael Jackson.
Okay.
And I was not able to go to that game because Phoebus had a competition that day. So I had not heard the band play it live. So I had finally got time during Christmas break, and this was like 2 months after the show had been performed. I finally had time during Christmas break to just listen to the show, and I put my headphones on. I was just like, wow, I wrote this. And even though I've been arranging for a while, it's
It's still
still
great to
amazing.
hear
Yeah,
what
it's
you
so
arranged, performed.
right. Like going from hearing a computer software play, and yeah, computer software has got come a long way. Like the software I use with AI and the sound playback it gives me, amazing. It sounds like a band, but
Yeah.
nothing hits like a real band that plays it. So like, I'm really blessed to have that opportunity. Shout out to Thomas Jones, Dr. Thomas L. Jones Jr. over at Hampton University, for giving me this opportunity because he's a phenomenal arranger himself. So
Mhm.
like he doesn't need me per se, but the fact that he gives me these opportunities, and I've had arrangements of mine played on the national stage. I've
Yeah.
had arrangements of mine played on TV. I play we played our arrangement TGIF with Glorilla in the building. So I've had artists share my arrangements that I have written that the band has played. So I'm forever grateful to Dr. Jones for giving me that opportunity. And that's one of the things that really people say is a hobby to me. Like a lot of people look at it as a job, but it's that's my version of going home and playing a video game. So like that's
Something
how I
you're
like to
really
relax.
interested in, and
Yeah.
it allows you to express yourself.
Yeah.
And you mentioned how many songs you have. How do you find the time to listen to all those and then interpret it into arrangement?
So usually, like, I'm not a big TV guy. My wife is the TV person, and I have become a TV person because of my wife. But I am a person that always has some form of headphones on. I'm not wearing them right now, but I have meta frames. So like when I'm walking everywhere, I have music playing. I when I'm riding in the car, unless I'm coming home from work because I'm usually overstimulated by then, I listen to music. When I wake up, I'm listening to music. When I go to sleep, I'm listening to music. I live on a I have a river in my backyard. So I literally go out on my balcony and just have a speaker and just I can listen to music for hours. So, I make the time because music is my passion, you make the time for your passion.
Yeah.
So, I make that time.
Okay, and you mentioned Phoebus High School.
Yes.
And you were the director of bands there. And
Mhm.
formerly you were the director of bands at Denby High School.
Yes.
What was those experiences like, and what made you switch schools?
Okay. So, I am forever grateful for my opportunities in Newport News. They started me off. So, when I got to Denby High School, I was hired to, for lack of better words, revive that program. Denby High School is one of the most historic band programs, not only in Virginia but in the country. They back in the '90s, they performed in Macy's. They have had national recognition. So after I had learned the history of the school, and they were a very core style school, after learning the history of the music program there, I realized how much pride and culture was there. But with times changing and the demographic of the school changing, where Denby used to historically be a predominantly white high school,
Hmm.
over the years it trended more towards the minorities. So that but when I was there were about more black and Hispanic students than there were white students. So when I got hired, the band program had 11 kids in it, and the principal wanted me to the principal also graduated from Hampton University, ironically enough.
Oh yeah.
So and she wanted to switch the style from core style to make it more like a HBCU style band. So my first year, I don't change major things my first year. I
Mhm.
introduce sprinkle of things I want to do usually my first year, because I already know that you're gonna like, I already realize like the first couple of weeks that you are meeting new students, you're gonna have people quit, but just because you're not the last person.
Hmm.
Like, so you don't want to change so much where it's just like they feel like there's nothing left. So I did not change. Like, I told them like, hey, eventually we wanted to make this switch, and um I showed them HBCU style bands. And it was funny. The funny thing about Denby when I first got there, although they were a predominantly minority school, all the
Hmm.
white kids were in band. So like it was like if you see like your TV show band, like how Nickelodeon would portray a band class,
Hmm.
I used to affectionately call them my little SpongeBob band, because like it really felt like the bubble band, the bubble bowl band.
Yeah.
So when I got there, I had all these materials. Like I had instruments that like I had a lot of instruments because like kids weren't playing them. And the band room was a decent size. I had the biggest music library in in Newport News, and I also wrote my own music for marching band. So that first year, the previous director had already picked a show. We were doing Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah, I did it. That was the 1 year we marched core style. But after that, I kind of transitioned them to the high step style, and we did a Beyonce homecoming show. Like that year, her marching band album had came out.
Okay.
So I did a show based off of that, and from the time I got there, but in 2017 to the end of my second year, that program had grown from 11 kids to about 50 kids. So, and then as I continued working there, I was at Denby for 7 years. No, yes, I was at Denby for either 6 or 7 years. And during that time, we transitioned in to a high step band, to the point where we were becoming one of the most popular bands in Newport News. We started participating in band battles. We battled schools like Norview, Heritage, Warwick High School, different schools like that. Granby High School, who also was switching to high step during around the same time as us. And eventually, we transitioned from being the Denby High School Marching Patriots to the Denby High School Soul Regiment.
Okay.
I am the founder of Soul Regiment. My wife created the logo. Me and my students came up with that name together because I wanted to, when we said we wanted to compete on the high step thing, Marching Patriots wasn't going to cut it. So, although we paid homage to the history of the name of Marching Patriots, we wanted to kind of make it more entertaining sounding. So I said I wanted to keep the name kind of still militaristic, patriotic, and we were just going to be the marching regiment. But then one of my students, Emily, she suggested we add soul because she said we play everything with soul. And then we made soul an acronym, which means standing out, united in loyalty. So that is the history of the Soul Regiment when it started. We were only able to do one season. I was only able to do one season as the Soul Regiment director because at the end of that year, that's when I ended up transitioning over to Phoebus. But during my time at Denby High School, even though it's not going to be reflected on the VBODA website because they don't count the 2020 Virginia concert band assessments, but I was able, under my direction, my band that year, my students and I got the first superior rating in concert band since the early 2000s. Like, I think it was by about 20 years since the last time we got a superior.
Mm.
So we brought that pride back to that band program. And then my successor, Jason Davis, who is a fraternity brother of mine for Phi Beta Sigma, he just picked up what I started and just took it further. So
Okay.
like they are one of the they're one of the more popular band programs within this area of Virginia. They have had opportunities to perform at different things like parades. And I believe they're about to do a bowl performance or a parade coming up, but they're really on the up and up. Shout out to my former students over there and Jason over there. At the end of my last year, there was some move shuffling around that was happening in Newport News Public Schools that year in the music department. And because of the what my supervisor told me, one of the reasons is because she saw the pride and what I was able to do at Denby, she wanted me to do the same thing at a middle school, uh Huntington Middle School. And part of the reason why I got into education and the arts period was because of marching band. So I didn't want to not be able to work a marching band. So when they offered me that opportunity, I was like, I would like to stay where I'm at.
Mm.
And they politely told me that it was either that or like that wasn't it was not an option for me to stay at the high school. So at that time, my friend Matthew Caldwell, him and I were really close. I was I was in a group text with him, and I let everybody know, I'm like, hey y'all, I'm just letting y'all know at the end of the year, I'm not gonna be at Denby. If y'all know of any high school openings in the area, let me know. I want to put my name in there because that year there was a lot of programs opening up. So Granby High School was available, Norcom High School was available. I believe Booker T High School was available. And when people heard that I was putting myself out there,
Mhm.
I got a lot of offers. All of those schools reached out to me like, hey, we saw what you did over at Denby. But Matt called me. He was like, hey man, uh, I'm about to leave Phoebus at the end of the year, and I saw your mouth. I feel like you'll be the perfect fit. Like he was like, just come meet the kids. And I was like, okay, cool. So I I'll never forget this. I was working part-time at ABC at the time,
Mhm.
because I had to make some money, and I had to cut my shift short, and I went and bought a shirt, tie, all that stuff, and changed in my car,
Mhm.
drove over to Phoebus, and Caldwell told me, he's like, surprise, it's an interview. I was like, whoa. So I met with the principal. I had my interview on the spot, and they pretty much told me that, yeah, you're the guy we want. So right after that, Caldwell caught me off guard again, and opposed to walking me to my car, walked me to the band room. And that's the first time I met a lot of the Phoebus kids. And I remember when I walked to the band room, I'm like, okay, I can deal with the size. not knowing that most of that band was seniors that year. So after I saw what I was working with, that's when I met you. I remember you, AJ,
Mhm.
Caleb, and Christian. Y'all were the first you were the first four students I met.
Mhm.
And at y'all's band banquet because y'all invited me that year. And I stayed there. Y'all gave me a hoodie, which made y'all really made me feel welcome. So I was really excited to see what was going to happen because even though I'm from Richmond, all of my family is from this area. So I've been a huge fan of Phoebus High School since I was a kid. Mr. Jim Stanley, former director of bands at Phoebus, is a mentor and friend of mine. My cousin, Ed Ricks, was a former band director there. So, like, I have seen Phoebus at what they were and like like I've seen that rivalry between Hampton and Phoebus. I've been to that game where if you did not get your ticket like earlier in the week, you were not going to that game.
Mhm.
Um, and then so like that got me excited about being there. And so the band was small when I got there. And the thing that made you guys so unique was y'all wanted to do things. So it was good, like it was good to hear that y'all wanted to do things. Y'all were getting bored with just doing football games. So that first year, like just like with Demby, I did not touch too many things. Like I didn't change too much. I just introduced some stuff here and there. But that second year, your senior year, was really when the band started taking off.
Yeah.
Um, we grew up to about 50 members last year, and then this past season, at our peak, we had 80 members in the band. And this year was the first year that we consistently competed to the point where, thanks to the groundwork that people like yourself, AJ, had laid, and now with this class that's graduating this year is kind of bittersweet because this is my first group, the last of my first group of leaders. So Caleb was the first drum major I got when I got to Phoebus, and he was announced today as the valedictorian. So like shout out to Caleb. So like it's next year is gonna be my first year where every kid that is in that program has had me since they were a freshman.
Mhm.
So um being at Phoebus, I have had the most fun in my career. I love Phoebus. Anybody that I talk to knows how much I love Phoebus. I will do anything for those kids there. And I I never like where we are now is where I expected us to be at the end of my 5-year plan. Like I had a 5-year plan, and where we are playing and performing at was where I was expecting to be in 2 years from now. But the fact that we are there in year three this year as a runner-up for teacher of the year, which was a surprise to me. It's just I'm having so much fun here and I see the impact I'm having. And then there's big opportunities that I can't speak too much about, but they're coming up that we've had some interesting invites. So there's some that so I, all like what I can say is I am now in a place where I can try to start providing my future, like starting hopefully as early as next year. I can start providing my high school students with opportunities that I had in my high school. That's all I can say at this current time.
All right.
But
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
thank you so much for
Mhm.
your time, and it was really nice meeting with you and interviewing you. So, yeah. Thank you so much
Yes.
for your comments.
Thank you, man, for having me. And I'm so proud of you, man. Keep up the good work. I'm so proud of everything you're doing. I've been keeping up with you on social media. Next time you're in town, let's catch up.
Yeah, I will. Thank you.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right, bye.
All right, peace.